Well, a very good evening to you. Welcome to this Friday's edition of the Football Sleep. I'm Robinson Okenye, and today we have so much to talk about, but so little time. So we will be cruising, and it will be top speed. I'm not alone in studio. Davis Mbere is here. Good evening, Davis. And we also have, at least he's moving with the pace, Fred Kagonye, good to have you on set.
Thank you very much.
Rogers Shtemi, good to have you back in studio.
Thank you.
Campaigns imeisha?
Campaign za nini?
Si unajua next weekend, those are the elections.
Very,
27th, next week, Thursday.
very important. Ground imekubali.
Cedric Msumba, how are you doing?
Kwanza kwao Malava.
Ground imekubali.
I'm doing well, Robinson. How are you?
You know, I saw somewhere people were being given, I don't know if it was lollipops or something. Karaoke, you can tell us. But it's, you know, it's the nature of campaign.
No, it is that time.
It's that time.
It's that time of the campaign. Hata kwingine umeona sukuma.
So it's the nature
it's that
of
time. You will be given. I'm also back from the Kinyozi.
Yes, you're back from Kinyozi, but we can see that probably you decided to change your barber. Things are not going well. But good to have you. Of course, we are driving this together, and it's been a fantastic week in terms of football, and not so good to Kenyan fans, and we'll be talking about that in a bit. But let's begin by recapping how the week has been. And one team that everybody has been talking about, Haiti. Yes, Haiti qualified to the World Cup. Leo tunasonga hivi faster. Haiti qualified to the World Cup, and easy is Africa. Leo ni kama tena umetupeleka
Moja kwa moja tuende kwa
ligi. Tunaenda mbio lakini sio hapa. Yes, hapa sasa. Fred Kagonye, Haiti qualifying to the World Cup. I mean, this is something big.
It is something big for the country. It will be okay. We all know that Haiti has not been peaceful, and it's quite a big milestone for the country to qualify. While their nation is not.
They have not even been playing their games at home.
They have not been playing at home, and actually the coach, I read somewhere, Sebastian Mine, saying that he actually got information about the players on phone from FA officials, from the Haitian FA officials. So for them, it's quite a big thing. Even for us who are from Kenya, it really is a big challenge.
Yes, Cedric Msumba, Panama qualified to the World Cup. Also a very big feat.
Yeah, the good thing with this small so-called...
Before even we go to Panama, this is Curacao.
Yes,
Curacao qualified to the World Cup.
A population of 150.
156,000.
Yes.
It's equivalent of Kariobangi North.
Quite insignificant to hear that such kind of a team cannot necessarily allow in 8 goals.
Yes.
But can choose to qualify for World Cup for the sake and the pride of their nation. And they are just now happy doing it for it. And listening to them quietly, they were like, embracing World Cup is a big thing for them. One, it has put them actually to the global arena. Now, tourists and the other avenues that can really bring up their economies, guys have started scouting of wow, that nation actually exists. And more so, other avenues and the platforms that can really make them now start being also respected at that particular global stage. And more so, they will not be in World Cup to participate like some of the nations that we have seen, even in their friendly matches. They will be there to face the so-called big wings of this world, the likes of Brazil. And they don't fear anyone, because listening to their coach speaking at one of the renowned global media house, he was like, going to World Cup kind of stature does not necessarily representing your nation, but it also is to send a statement. And you are not quite sure where you will be pulled in. You can meet France, you can meet Brazil, you can meet England. You don't actually choose whom to play. So if you qualify and you meet the stage of playing there, not necessarily to participate, but also to bring back pride back to the nation. Congratulations to them. They are now being celebrated, but 50 million plus, 51 plus million Kenyans, we can't really necessarily see that.
Their population is slightly like 10% of the population of the constituency you come from.
Not even 10%. It's quite insignificant.
Could be like 2%.
Probably, yeah.
Roger Shtemi, Panama qualified for the World Cup this week, and it's also something that has been special for them.
I think this is the year whereby the so-called small nations have a chance to prove themselves, and it's going on so well. bearing in mind that this is an expanded World Cup, 48 teams, and at the likes of Panama, Curacao, Cape Verde from Africa, those are debutants. They're going to be there for the first time ever. And you know, it is a history they have already written in their respective continents as well as nations. But now the big, or rather the hard work starts now, because just like Cedric has said here, that indeed they're not going to 2026 World Cup maybe as participants. They're going to compete. They have to leave a mark there. And for them, having gone through that tremendous moment of qualifying to reach that particular time of getting a chance to the World Cup, it's a huge, huge statement. But also it is advantageous to them, because you remember the likes of US, the likes of Mexico, and the likes of Canada. It was somewhere a highway for them, because if they would have been there, maybe it would have been totally different for them to qualify. But already the three nations had already qualified, and that's now a big, big plus for teams like Panama, who have just been playing for fun and maybe trying to exhibit to the other world that indeed they can also play the beautiful game of football.
Yes, Davis Mberia. Now, aside from the, the so-called smaller teams, let's take a look at the big teams that have qualified. And Switzerland, they have also qualified to the World Cup. They got a 3-0 win against Slovenia, so they're in the World Cup.
Kundi lao ambalo pakubwa wengi walitarajia kwamba mpinzani wao angepata zaidi ya mabao 14, lakini mambo hayakwenda vizuri. Na hisi kwamba wakirejea katika kombe la dunia watakuwa na mwamko mwingine mzuri, lakini wameonyesha kwamba kutokea hasa barani Ulaya kuna mataifa ambayo yamefanya kuwa kama mtindo, na si tu kwa wachezaji ambao wanajulikana kwa majina makubwa, ila yanajikita katika ule muoano ambao upo katika kikosi chao. Na hisi kwamba jinsi walivyocheza katika mechi za kufuzu kiasi cha kuongoza kundi lao, wana uwezo wa kutesa pia katika kombe la dunia 2026.
Cedric Musumba, Scotland, they are back to the World Cup. And you saw this celebration. It was something that they were waiting for.
This is a country that also carries some name that has been followed for so long by some of the football lovers. Remember, most of their players actually they are playing in the most celebrated league in the world. So as to say, they are at some essence being seen as the celebrities. It will be so kind of tragic, say the likes of Robertson, almost retiring without gracing World Cup. Say the likes of Shai Adams, really not really embracing World Cup racing that has been scouted in the previous transfer window, with most of the big wings of the European, the likes of Arsenal, really looking for his services. So as to say, McTominay almost retiring without really gracing World Cup. So as to say, it's a team that has some qualities going to the World Cup, and they are not necessarily just going there, because you see how they played, the effort they were really giving in, the kind of also the opponent they were facing, they were not a pushover. So Scotland, to me, it's a quality that has really matured and it has come of age to grace such kind of stature. And going to World Cup, any team that we want to be facing Scotland should actually be well prepared, knowing very well that not necessarily playing Scotland, but they are playing qualities in that particular team.
Yes, aside from Scotland, let's take a look at the other teams that have qualified for the World Cup. You do have, this is the Orange Netherlands have qualified for the World Cup. Aside from this, Germany has also qualified to the World Cup. Of course, let's move away from the World Cup qualifiers, and we take a look at the Malaysian FA are being investigated by FIFA for producing forged documents for players who took part in the qualifiers. So, hii mambo ya kuforge vitu kumbe sio areas tunajua tu. Let's move on from the Malaysian FA, and Fernandinho is retiring at the age of 40. Kariuki, we have big games this weekend. Ebu zipitie haraka the big games that we have.
Tuone ama huyo kama ni yeye angekuwa namna gani? Weekend sleeper.
Big games of the weekend.
The weekend sleeper.
Kama kidogo mkono imekuwa
unajua amekuwa leave. Kariobangi Sharks will be facing AFC Leopards. Gor Mahia faces Tusker FC. Fulham will face Sunderland. That's in the EPL. It's back after the international break. And Newcastle itakuwa ikimenyana na Man City. Arsenal will be welcoming Tottenham. It's a derby. Manchester United, the big and will be facing Everton. Barcelona face Athletic Bilbao. Dortmund will be facing Stuttgart, and then Napoli will be facing Atalanta. Inter Milan will be facing AC Milan. It's a Milan derby. Those are the 10 games that we've chosen this week to have to see. We are going to be giving our predictions later on, and of course also some of the topics that we are discussing today, you can also talk to us. You can also wade in and give your opinion and views as we move on. So the numbers will be appearing on your screen. You talk to us as well as on our social media platforms at Standard Media as well as KTN. Hizi tutakuwa tukikueleza how watu ambao wamekuwa wamepredict namna gani wiki hii.
Now that you've given the numbers, of course the numbers to call into the show.
Yes.
Tuanzishie na Harambee Stars, what happened? Because we also want to hear what Kenyans have to say about the national football team.
And I think the national football team, we are going to really dwell on that.
Angalia nyuma yako. Sio kitu fiche.
No wonder Hassan is not here. I was following keenly last Friday.
Yes.
Hassan said it is going to be a draw. This one is not even close to a draw. Someone has been ameshikwa, akafinywa, akasqueeziwa. Kama ingekuwa ni machungwa ni juice. Sedo, 8-0. It's a friendly, yes.
It is.
8-0.
Our friendly actually is meant to prepare you psychologically, and you happen actually to be hammered like this. I don't think if they are prepared well enough, maybe to hone another match in a few weeks to come. They need actually to relax. They are now in ICU, and talking to how they actually were hammered, it's not a style of a Harambee Star playing teams of such magnitude, because it was the first time they were facing Senegal. It is quite annoying to see a country that goes to offer security elsewhere to a country that qualified to World Cup, but back home they are not qualifying. Instead they are inviting tragic kind of results like what we are seeing here. This is not the first time Harambee Star has played Senegal. We remember it has played Senegal in a sequence of matches, but Senegal has been respecting Harambee Star to an essence that it has never placed 3 goals past our national team. It was so surprising when we played, and instead of getting the usual 3 goals that we are associated ourselves with, it actually summed up to a double kind of results, 8, even almost even getting to 10. And you go by how we played, there's no team there. I can just say, as a nation, we either embark on rugby or maybe invest in athletic, but forget about football. If these are the kind of the results we are going to get.
But some few weeks ago when they were participating, well, I know Chan is a different case, but the coach, Kenyans really hyped the coach and said that he should be given time for AFCON 2027.
That's why I'm building up my case that in any given time, Kenya has been preparing, knowing that we want to be in World Cup. Leave alone AFCON. Even in our World Cup qualifier, when actually that qualifying groups was actually ushered out by FIFA, we started giving permutation how we will play against Morocco, how we will play against Gabon, before even they start. And at some point, we felt like maybe it's only Ivory Coast that was strong in that team, but the results did not actually fare on well.
You can't want to be in the World Cup and you can't admire to be in the World Cup and you are losing 8-0 to a team that plays in the World Cup. But remember, you can be part of this show. Call in and give us your views. The number to call are at the bottom of your screen. Roger Seshtebi, what did not happen to Harambee Stars in that friendly against Senegal, a team that had just come from losing to Brazil, while Kenya was coming into that match after losing to Equatorial Guinea? What did not happen?
I think Harambee Stars had to pay for Brazil's sins, and it came hefty payment. And it's just unfortunate that maybe you were exposed badly when you were not expecting, because that's a true reflection of maybe the standard of our game. And it came at the right moment, if I have to say that, because it is preparing us for maybe 2027 AFCON. Imagine.
So that is the reality we are going to face in 2027.
Imagine if that will have happened in 2027 at Kasarani, 8-0 against Senegal. That tournament will have to come to an end, trust me. It's good. It has happened at least 2 years or so before the big tournament. And it's something that maybe has told us we are not on the level of Senegal, because looking at the fallen faces of those Harambee Stars players after the game, and even at halftime, 6 goals before the break. That's a huge statement because defensively we were poor. The goalkeeper, I think he was just maybe in his own world and nothing could happen. Stringing of those passes, we were struggling. And the physicality and the endurance of the Senegalese just told us, indeed, we can't compete with them. And you see the way Mane and Nicolas were carrying themselves professionally. And I think to some extent, I have to put this blame on Benny McCarthy because he threw some of these kids into the deep end, the likes of Byron Onyona, the likes of Baron Ocheng. Byron Onyona, that was his senior Harambee Stars debut. How can you take such a young player onto such stage and then expose him to people like maybe Sadio Mane, Nicolas Jackson, people who knows how to maybe just tow you around? And at the end of the day, definitely what Cedric has said is true. These players, it'll take them months before they heal. They actually need somebody to heal them, the mental health, because...
Speaking of which, Shtemi, they jetted into the country quietly. They didn't want people to know that they are back.
Unfortunately, even adding to that,
yes.
I don't know where McCarthy is. Because I think this is the moment whereby he should address, even talk to the media, talk to the country, and tell them, this is how it went wrong. He has not spoken. Nobody has spoken from the technical bench. You know, they have left us with a lot of guesses.
Kagonye,
Yes.
you remember Friday you said that you expected us to lose, but at least we should not have lost this way.
First of all, I want to apologize to myself for having some belief in Harambee Stars. The belief that we will not lose by more than 3 goals.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we almost lost by
10 goals.
by 10 goals.
Some of the goals,
Actually,
some were disallowed.
we were almost being scored.
and actually, from the panel that we had last week, only Sedo came close to
the scoreline.
But for Harambee
He
Stars,
had lost hope.
even before the game began. But we played the game 4 days after playing Equatorial Guinea. But I would give it to the team and say maybe they were still, trying to adapt to the weather of Turkey. And they were also, remember that week, the coach, Benny McCarthy, was celebrating his birthday. So maybe they were
you can't say they were adapting. They played Equatorial Guinea in Turkey.
Yes.
Senegal was coming from England to play.
That's why I said
Yes.
that week, actually, before the Equatorial Guinea game, they celebrated Benny McCarthy's birthday. So maybe they were still hungover and the party went on. It was party after party and they forgot that they're supposed to play football and they were meeting a serious team. But it's such a shame and I don't know why Benny McCarthy has not spoken. At least I saw the FKF president came out and spoke with Mr. Hussein Mohammed. But still, we need to hear something from the coach. And interestingly, before the game, actually, one of the assistant coaches, Mr. Kimani, he was very, he showed a lot of confidence. He said, these are teams that we need to play against. But again, the other assistant coach, he said that they were never even aware that they were going to play Senegal. So maybe we can blame unpreparedness.
Mbele udadisi wako ni upi?
Mimi nahisi kwamba tuliuma tonge linalotuzidi mdomoni. Kwamba
we beat more than we can chew.
Kwamba kuna timu fulani ambazo hazipo katika hadhi yetu. Senegal ilituonyesha kwamba hatupo level moja na wala siku zote hatutawahi cheza level moja. Nizungumzie kikosi ambacho kocha Benny McCarthy alikichezesha. Hawa ni wachezaji ambao hawajapata ule uzoefu wa kucheza katika majukwaa makubwa. Zungumzie kina Aldrin Kibet, hawajapata ule uzoefu wa kucheza na wale wachezaji ambao wanacheza katika vilabu vikubwa, ligi kubwa. Unamzungumzia kwamba unataka kumhandle Mane, unataka kumhandle Jackson, unataka kumtackle Kalidou bwana, unataka kumtackle Ndiaye. Yaani ukienda pale kwanza unampa nidhamu kwamba huyu ni mchezaji mkubwa. Kwako kwanza umefurahi kwamba unaweza mtackle cha kwanza. Na isi kwamba hiyo ndio ilikuwa taswira kubwa ya Stars. Waliwapea nidhamu kwanza Senegal kwamba hii ni klabu kubwa, alafu wakachanganyikiwa. Angalia safu yetu ya nyuma ilionekana imechanganyikia. Wakati wanatoa mipira kule nyuma wakifungua, wao walikuwa wanataka kupiga mashambulizi tu, wala hawajali kwamba huku nyuma kukoaje. Wanawapa nafasi wachezaji ambao hatungewahi sikia kwamba wakiwafunga timu kama hizi vizuri Kocha Benny McCarthy aketi chini, benchi lake la ufundi pia waketi chini, watuambie 2027 tunajipanga nini? Kando na siasa katika mpira huu, tutajipanga vipi? Maanake tutakuwa nyumbani. Na tukikuwa nyumbani, aibu itakuwa kubwa. Kwao Senegal wametuma jumbe kwa haya mataifa kutoka Afrika Mashariki kwamba na iwe funzo kwa mataifa mengine ambayo yanatoka kule, tunakuja.
AFCON is in December. It starts on December 26. Kariuki, if you want to be part of this show, unafanyaje?
Unapiga simu. The numbers are on your screen. Call in live and you're going to hear your sentiments on this topic that we are discussing, Harambee Stars, their performance versus Senegal. Hata tujaguzia Equatorial, by the way. It's just Senegal. Tukiingia sa Equatorial, hizo 2 friendly games basi tutakuwa haribu zaidi. Lakini nafikiria tuna kibarua sana as a country. If 2027 we are ready for that AFCON tournament, then we need to do something and we need to start early. Kama Benny McCarthy alikuwa anarusha vijana uwanjani kuwatayarisha for 2027, basi aliwatayarisha vibaya. I think it should be gradual as we move to the Chan had given a lot of confidence maybe. Sedo ametingiza kichwa. I can see him shaking his head.
After Chan, now this is a reality check that you know there are levels to this game.
No, Robbie, I think we have followed this Kenyan team together for so many years. I think the previous 6 years we have been together with this team. And at some point we celebrated this team in 2019 under the tutelage of Sebastian Minye, who is now currently taking Haiti to World Cup. Kenya is not that it's not far from playing Senegal. I still believe Kenya can play Senegal and can give a challenge to the Senegalese team, given how they played Senegal in 2019. So as to say, we had a blueprint that we could just pick that from that blueprint and move forward. Sadio Mane, whom we played in 2019, is still with this Senegal team. Remember, Bladia, who is actually in Syria A, played against Kenya, Harambee Star, that back then in Egypt. But it was not a walkover like what we saw. To say, if I may borrow from Sebastian Minye, there's a formula to face such kind of a team. I remember he played Abu Domari and Marcelo, who was very young at that particular time. They were actually to stop that flanks, because we know Senegal attacks from flanks. And they slowed down the Senegalese flank from attacking and supplying money at the midfield. Where were our tacticians to read from that past results and see how to stop this particular team moving forward? We have the likes of Anyembe, where Dakel has come in and sealed where Philomen Otieno could actually sleep at Egypt, if you remember. When Anyembe comes in, he showed that he can stop from anyone attacking from the right. And if you stop those flanks, the Senegalese wouldn't have gotten it that kind easy to supply ball the likes of Jackson and Man at the middle. So as to say, the only undoing that we had in 2019 was at the center back. Remember, we had 2 injuries. That was Brian Mandela and Joash Onyango, who got injured. But he slotted in a youngster by the name Joseph Okumu by that particular time, who did us some justice. So it's all about the technical bench that they did not read the Senegal. They did not actually take the Senegalese team seriously. They thought that maybe it's Somali or the Uganda or the fishermen that we played the other day. So that we think a wake-up call could have been when we played Equatorial Guinea. And you remember in our show, when we talked about that result, we actually highlighting those weaknesses that we saw in that team. So where were they? Is it that they had gone for a party, as Kagonyi said here? They did not actually follow up. The problem lies with the technical bench. It's not the national bench.
It's all about the problem, of course, as Cedric says, the problem lies with the technical bench. We take a short break. When we come back, we'll be looking at some of the big games that we have for this weekend. Remember, the London Derby will be taking place on Sunday. We'll be talking about that. The Milan Derby will be also taking place on Sunday. So we have lots to talk about when it comes to the big games. But that will be after the break. Welcome back to the Football Sleep. I'm Robinson Okenya in studio, Daniel Kariuki, Cedric Msumba, Roger Sishtemi, Fred Kagonye, and Davis Mberia. And we want to stick with that topic of Kenya losing to Senegal 8-0 because the gentlemen in studio have said that they still have some burning issues that they have to lay out. Cedric Msumba has finished his part. Roger Sishtemi, it's now your time to shine.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Sedo tushamaliza. Sasa ni Ishtemi. Okay. Yes. Kila mtu wako na type yake. It's Ishtemi.
I think in the history of the Kenyan football, the worst performance of Harambee Stars, this will go into history. I think it's at the 4th or the 5th worst performance ever, because we had 13-2, they lost to Uganda some years back. They lost 9-0 against Zambia, that is 1978 in the Sekafa Cup. And then they also lost, I think, 13-1.
Ishtemi. 13-2 was in
1968.
Yes.
Something. Zambia. This is 2025.
It is this I'm going to bring it here.
You're building towards something.
I'm building towards something.
Yeah. Yes, Kibaki, Moi, those people would have enjoyed the results.
Yes, I'm still building something. I'm still building something. Just hold your nerves, hold your horses. Yeah. So the last worst performance came, I think, in 2021, which we lost 5-0 against Mali.
Mali, yes.
And I think from there, I thought we were building something, learning from worst, coming to better. But I think this has sent us back to the default settings. We need to look ourselves into the mirror and ask, are we really a footballing nation, or we keep on flirting to deceive? Yeah, those are some of the things that we need to ask ourselves. But you know, we have been hit hard when it matters most. Why am I saying this? Because we are using shortcut to gain glory. Let's go back to the basics. Let's do the things right. Look at Senegal. Of course, their league is not strong, but what do? They get their best players when they're still young, send them in Europe. Let them gain that, start football education at the earlier stage. As they grow, they know what they're doing. They'll come back home and win title for the team and the nation. But here, we want to do shortcut. Even look at the Harambee Stars squad at the moment. It will be maybe 3 or 4 players that have transitioned. They have gone through the ranks up to where they are. Other players may be fine. He started playing or serious football maybe at the age of 19, 18. That's when they start maybe seeing here and there. And you know, you can't compare such players with a player like Sadio Mane, Nicola Jackson, somebody who was born maybe with this ball next to him. He knows exactly when to breathe and when to sleep. So I think for the federation and the country at large, we need to ask ourselves, are we ready for AFCON 2027? Because if we continue taking this football with the mentality we have, that yes, it is the masses game, but are we investing to it so that we can also once in a while celebrate of what we are doing? If we are not doing so, then we are in for another road shock come 2027. But that aside, Cedric spoke about our head-to-head against Senegal. Of course, we have met Senegal a 6th time, if I'm not wrong. In 1990, we drew 0-0. And then there's a moment in a friend we lost 1-0. The rest, it has been 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. What went wrong when we lost 8-0? That goes to Benny McCarthy because
foreign land. We were playing in foreign land.
Yeah, for the 15 matches he has been in charge, he has kept on changing the squad. Right now, we don't know the best 11 for Benny McCarthy. If by chance he had known that we are going to meet maybe Senegal, also maybe he was confused by maybe the change of the friendlies, because initially they were supposed to play Comoros and Madagascar. Maybe he would have called in the best players maybe in his mind. But now he came up with that squad, and there we were embarrassed. So
Kagonye, your time to shine.
Tough moment.
Your time to shine, Kagonye.
Can I donate my time to Cedric so that he can continue?
No. To Shamala, Cedric, it's your time to shine. I want to move to something else. Your time to shine. Your 2 seconds of fame, you're easy.
Give it, Cedric.
No, I can donate my time to Cedric.
Okay, Beria.
I want Cedric strong.
Mimi nahisi kwamba Senegal ni taifa tunaweza pambana nalo, na huu ndio wakati ambao namkosa sana Engin Firat. Manake Engin Firat, kama tukio kama hili angekuja wazi
aseme
ukweli kwamba Kenya is not a footballing nation. Don't have players. Na kuambia ukweli utakuuma, wewe ulale nao, amke nao, lakini ukweli ameshakwambia. Nahisi kwamba tunafaa kocha McCarthy anafaa kupata kikosi chake halisi ambacho anajua kwamba this is my first my starting 11 na kama nitakosa huyu mchezaji kuna huyu mchezaji atakuja na inafaa pia apige hasa uchambuzi wake kuhusiana na wale wachezaji ambao wanacheza hasa ligi za kule uhaibuni kuhakikisha kwamba wanapata uzoefu kuwapa wale chipukizi ambao watakuwa wanajumuisha. Manake ukiangalia wale wachezaji ambao waliachwa nje wanaocheza ligi za kule uhaibuni wana uzoefu fulani, wamezoea mazingira kama yale, wakikumbana na wachezaji ambao ni wa haiba ya juu wanaweza pambana nao kama tunaweza pambana na Ivory Coast. Na Ivory Coast inakwenda bwana hapa kwa hapa na Senegali, haiwezi tushinda. Ni kocha tu ajue kwamba hawa ni wachezaji ambao wanahitaji na nahitaji wachezaji wa haiba namna hii, si kwenda kwamba utachukua tu kila mchezaji ukimleta hapa na sisi tuaibishwe. Kwanza cha kwanza alama zinapotea, tunashuka katika ubora wa dunia nzima inatuangalia, wachezaji wetu watakosa ile ladha kwamba hakuna wakala yoyote ambaye atakuwa anaangalia Kenya kwamba inaweza toa mchezaji mzuri achezee klabu kubwa.
Kuna mchezaji ambaye Kenya inaweza toa achezee klabu kubwa. Wakisema hivyo acha tuangalie CAF Awards sababu ni wachezaji wakubwa because everybody has had their time. So CAF Awards took place in Rabat, Morocco. Kariuki tupeleke Darieni.
Na huyu ndio player of the year. Na alikuja na the parent, the mother, naitwa Hakimi from Morocco. Jina ya kwanza Otachi anauliza anaitwa nani?
Ashraf.
Mweleze.
Ashraf Hakimi.
Asante. Otachi. We have the player of the year, the women's side.
On the women's side, anaitwa Gezele.
Yes, ndio huyo.
That is the women's player of the year. She also from Morocco.
Tukimbie kidogo Otachi, tuangalie tu as we go through the
club of the year.
Club of the year, Pyramids Football Club. Tukisonga Otachi because of time, the golden boot, definitely.
That was actually the goal of the tournament. Or rather, goal of the year.
Goal of the year, I think.
Cedric's best player, Clement Muzize.
Yes. Kutoka hapa kwetu.
Hapa TZ.
Ni wetu.
Ni Mkenya. Hakucheza hiyo mechi ya kirafiki.
Hakucheza.
And that is the CAF African best player. Fiston Maele. Yes.
Tukisonga Otachi. Kwa haraka Otachi.
Yes, tumemaliza nao. So remember Kariuki tulikuwa tumepeana nini?
Weekend sleep. That's what tuangalia the predictions. The weekend games, the prediction that we are having. Sijui tuanze bottom tukienda up. Sana bottom unajuanga ni nani? Otachi. Hassan. Leta ya Hassan.
Predictions za Hassan.
The Hassan. Bottom ninio. The 10 games, this is how Hassan has predicted. Over 1.5, Kariobangi Sharks, AFC Leopards, Gor Mahia Tusker has gone with Gor Mahia. Fulham Sunderland, over 1.5. Newcastle Man City, amesema Man City or a draw. Arsenal Tottenham, a derby, amesema Arsenal or a draw. Manchester United Everton, amesema Manchester United or a draw rather. Barcelona Athletic Bilbao, over 1.5. Dortmund Stuttgart, either Dortmund or a draw. Napoli Atalanta, over 1.5, and also Inter Milan, the Milan derby, he has said over 1.5. Unajuanga tukitoka bottom up, ya pili unajuanga ni nani?
Tupe yako.
Sijui number 1.
Sijui imepo hapo.
Amecheza raha. Lakini sawa tu, Kariobangi Sharks AFC kasema either side. Gor Mahia Tusker FC, either of the two. Gor Mahia or Tusker, Fulham, Sunderland over 1.5, Newcastle Man City or a draw. Arsenal Tottenham, it's a derby. It will have goals, I believe. Manchester United Everton, either Manchester or a draw. Barcelona Athletic Bilbao, Barcelona or a draw. Dortmund Stuttgart over 1.5. Napoli Atalanta, Napoli or a draw, and then the Milan derby we have over 1.5.
So quickly, let me run through my predictions for the weekend. KA Sharks versus FC Leopards, FC or draw. Gor versus Tusker, Gor or draw. Fulham versus Sunderland over 1.5. Newcastle Man City, City or draw. Arsenal versus Tottenham over 1.5. United versus Everton, United or draw. Barcelona versus Bilbao, Barcelona watakuwa wanafungua uwanja hii weekend, so win or a draw. Dortmund, Stuttgart over 1.5. Napoli, Atalanta. Napoli or draw. Milan, AC Milan. That will be over 1.5. Those are our predictions for the weekend. So, Kariuki, tuanze na biggest game of the weekend. Tuanze
Italy. Moja kwa moja. We are going to be having the Milan derby. Inter Milan, AC Milan, Sedo. This is one of the games.
Inter Milan, they know. Inter Milan,
Inter
AC
Milan.
The Milan derby.
Milan derby.
Yes. Hii tutakuja. Napoli saizi, Atalanta wajiwezi kidogo. Tutakuja kwake.
What do you think, Cedric, about this game? What are we looking at during the weekend?
It's a defining moment for this team, given also that they are coming from international break and they are carrying some of the players that have really carried their country to World Cup. Talking about the likes of Akanji, you have also one of the celebrated player in Europe, that's Luka Modric, actually trading for AC Milan. It will be now quite a good battle to see how all these players will be faring, more so in that particular midfield where each and every team will trying to be winning those balls and supplying where necessary to their talisman up front to see if they can score. But Milan has actually surged on and has been collecting some results even before the international break, and they're actually yearning to see if they can challenge on the top of the league where the likes of Napoli are really being celebrated up there. They will be trying as much as they can to get the 3 points, which, and again, I don't think if the likes of Dumfries, the likes of Akanji in their Inter Milan side will be allowing them just to carry their mantle towards them and maybe come out of that particular match victoriously.
Right. Wacha tuende kwa Napoli ambayo Tachi nataka tuzungumzie sana. Shtemi, of course, as Sedo, Robbie has put it, Napoli this time round, it's not the Napoli that we saw last season.
I think it has been a rude moment for Napoli, because this is not the same Napoli we saw a few seasons ago when they had the likes of Osimhen. And, since the departure of Osimhen, I think he went with their lady luck, and they have been flip-flopping since then. But looking at having lost their last match against, I think it was...
They won the league, actually.
Yeah.
With Lukaku, who's been injured.
Yeah, but it's not the same Napoli we used to, because back then, Osimhen was the person whom everybody was looking up to. And the scandal that maybe erupted due to his transfer also maybe tried to confuse the team. But that aside, the likes of McTominay, of course, they have come in and tried to bring in that tempo. The likes of Lukaku, but now also Lukaku, no, you can't really bank on him most of the moment.
Lukaku is in injury.
Yeah.
Zambo is on injury.
Yeah. So they have been struggling.
Injury.
They have been struggling a lot, and even their past game, I think, against Inter, they lost. So this is already something that's going to show them they have to bounce back very quickly if indeed they have to challenge for the title. And it's not going to be a walk in the park, bearing in fact in mind that Atlanta also, they have players who can also come and cause ripples against their opponents. So it's upon Napoli to capitalize on the home advantage, and maybe the Milan derby ends in a draw so that they can narrow gap on the leaders.
Niongezee tu pale kidogo, na isi kwamba ni mechi ambayo pia itakuwa shinikizo kwao wana Atalanta, manake kocha mgeni amechukua mikoba kutoka kwa Juric ambaye alipigwa kalamu. Kwa hivyo itabidi
Ognoli.
Yes, Palladino. Fiorentina. Kwa hivyo nahisi kwamba atakuwa makinifu zaidi wakati anapanga kikosi chake, na pia atataka kutumia mtindo ambao utawafungua zaidi Napoli, kizingatiwa kwamba safu yao ya mashambulizi sasa hivi imetikisika zaidi, manake mfungaji wao bora yupo amepata jeraha, na pia baadhi ya wale wachezaji ambao ni nguzo katika mashambulizi akiwemo Lukaku wote wameingia katika hasa kipindi cha majeraha. Nahisi Atalanta wana shinikizo kubwa, lakini Napoli wakikaa vizuri wana uwezo wa kushinda hiyo mechi.
Kariuki, tuende Premier League.
Haraka tu kwa sababu unajua watu wa early kickoff. A very big game is going to be happening. Yes. This is Newcastle facing Manchester City. And we have seen what has happened this season. Newcastle ni kama kidogo, they are still they are yet to pick up this season.
It's been quite an interesting season for Newcastle. I don't know whether the transfer saga involving Alexander Isak kind of destabilized the team, but they are sitting 14th on the log. City are sitting second, 4 points behind Arsenal. They have 22 points. Arsenal have 26 points. But it's not going to be an easy win, of course, for Man City. but come on.
But you've already told us they are going to win, but it's not going to be easy.
To be easy for them.
We go to the big one.
To the derby, Arsenal
Tuende kubwa
facing
weekend.
Tottenham, and Arsenal is coming back from the international break with some injuries. Talking of Magalhaes, na hata Gikores bado hajarudi. Do you think this is going to affect them, especially the fact that they are top of the table, and from far Man City inaangalia hivi kwa side mirror?
Arsenal is a team that for the past, I think, 11 or so matches that have already been played, it's a team that has come out to tell a different story of a statement this kind of season. It's a team that does not play with the first 11. Even those players who are coming from the bench, they equally play like the first 11. So as to say, injury to them is an issue. Any player who will be coming in to fit will be fit enough actually to slot in with the kind of result. Remember, they have a winning mentality. So as when you are sent in to represent a player who has gotten an injury, you are going in knowing that you are a winner. Because if a team loses in when you have been given an advantage to play, remember you'll be carrying the tag of our guys who are coming to slow down the team. And that does not go well with the player. So I think Arsenal would be riding very high. The only thing that Tottenham will come coming just to frustrate them and maybe slow them. A draw to Tottenham, it will kind of be celebrated as if they have won against Arsenal, give it to the kind of essence that Arsenal has been riding on. Also, go by the kind of player that Arsenal has, even back at the international break, they have really done well. They have played as if they are still on that particular form that they have been enjoying at the club level. Coming back, they just want to pick from where they left and continue the better results.
What's your prediction before I move to HTM?
Arsenal will win.
Arsenal will win. Tottenham, they are doing very well away. Nyumbani ndio shida. Away, they'll be away. Is it going to be of impact?
Does that matter?
It does.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Derby for derby, that's a totally different picture.
Doing very well away.
Yeah, because yeah, you know, also these two teams are coming off from the international break. There's some injury because also Spurs will be missing Sa, who is doubtful. I don't know if he'll pass the fitness test to play in the midfield. But for Arsenal, of course, Gabriel is out. But you have another good replacement in Piero Martin because he's a left-footed centre back. So looking at that back line already, I think Arsenal will not really miss Gabriel because, of course, he's a goal-scoring defender. And that leadership, that bullying is deserved there. But sometimes when you come into such derbies, maybe you need some different complexion so that you can gauge if indeed you have that mentality to go all the way and lift the title. So it is going to be a very big testing moment for the
Who is
derbies.
winning? Who is winning? Oh, okay. What's the score? I know we say it's Arsenal. Or maybe you have a different prediction.
Of course, his prediction is that Arsenal will win.
We
We just need to get the score line.
Move on swiftly.
We just need to get the score line.
Okay. Could Thomas Frank maybe try to announce his arrival at Tottenham for the derby?
No, not really. Okay, in my opinion, I think Arteta will come out strong and his team will definitely win. A 2-0 win. I've made the prediction on behalf of my friend over here.
Yes.
But Frank is a good coach, but his Tottenham, when facing the traditional quote-unquote big six,
yes,
they have not really shown the grit or the confidence to go ahead and and challenge for the title. We are not saying that they should actually be in the top 2 or number 1.
Right.
But at one point we thought that this is the Tottenham that that we've always heard about, that is being predicted.
We've already said who is winning. Otacha ananiza who is winning.
Oh.
Umeshasema ni 2-0.
2-0
to Arsenal.
Yes.
So Beria, watu wanasema hii ni derby lakini wanasema Arsenal. It's a derby. Definitely Tottenham might even have
ni
an
derby,
opportunity.
na ukitaja derby hii inamaanisha kwamba pande zote mbili zina uzito. Kwa
Exactly.
hivyo Tottenham
Tell them.
Now you're speaking like a Manchester fan, right?
Tottenham si timu ambayo utaifagilia tu kwamba utaipiga vile unataka kwa mfumo ambao wanaocheza na mfumo ambao umeonekana kubadilika kidogo wakati kocha Thomas Frank ameingia hapo, lakini nahisi kwamba ni mtihani kwake. Thomas Frank ana jukumu la kuonyesha mashabiki na kuhakikishia kwamba tunaweza piga baadhi ya vilabu vikubwa katika ligi hii ya soka ya Uingereza. Ndio watapigwa, lakini hawatapigwa na mabao ya juu zaidi. Tuseme 1-0 ama 2-1.
Tukiangalia historia.
So 2-1, 2-0, Arsenal will win.
Tukiangalia historia ya msimu uliopita na ule mwingine.
Okay, Robbie, Matokeo tutasubiri.
Tutasubiri sana.
Na wewe mwenyewe
Matokeo.
I'm moderating.
It's okay.
So let's quickly run through the fixtures that we have for this weekend in different leagues across the world. Couple of fixtures that we have, so we quickly run through those fixtures. Of course, in the English Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, and we begin with the Italian side. Cagliari will be taking on Genoa. Udinese will be facing Bologna. Fiorentina face Juventus. That is on Saturday. Napoli will be in action against Atalanta. On Sunday, we also have a number of fixtures, and Verona will be taking on Parma. Cremonese in action against AS Roma. Lazio face Lecce as Inter Milan take on AC Milan at 10:45. That is in the Italian Serie A. Let's move to another liga, which is Spanish La Liga. Alaves take on Celta, Barcelona face Athletic Club, Osasuna take on Sociedad, Villarreal face Mallorca. That will be on Saturday. Sunday, we also do have a number of fixtures. Oviedo welcome Vallecano. Betis will be in action against Girona. Getafe battle Atletico as Elche hosts Real Madrid. That is in La Liga. Bundesliga, Augsburg take on Hamburg. Dortmund face Stuttgart. Bayern take on Freiburg. Wolfsburg will be facing Bayer Leverkusen. Heidenheim take on Borussia Mönchengladbach. That will be still on Saturday. But we also have 3 fixtures on Sunday in the Bundesliga. Köln take on Frankfurt. And then on Sunday, 2 fixtures rather. Leipzig face Werder Bremen as St. Pauli take on Union Berlin. From there, we get into the English Premier League. Early kickoff, Burnley vs Chelsea. Then after that, Bournemouth vs West Ham. Brighton host Brentford. Fulham take on Sunderland. And Liverpool will be facing on Nottingham Forest. And at around 10:45, it will be Newcastle vs Man City. And then you also have Crystal Palace vs Wolves. On Sunday, Leeds take on Aston Villa, Arsenal host Tottenham. And on Monday, there's only one fixture, Manchester United at Old Trafford taking on Everton. Those are the English Premier League fixtures that we have. Tukuje nyumbani kaka.
Rudi nyumbani.
Saturday, Bara Sugar watakuwa KCB, Gor Mahia take on Tusker. Bidco United at SportPesa Arena on face Bandari, and Kenya Police take on Mathare United. That is on Saturday. And on Sunday, Homeboys face Posta Rangers, Muranga take on Shabana at SportPesa Arena, and then Kariobangi Sharks face FC Leopards. Those are the fixtures that we have.
Muranga Seal watakuwa nyumbani.
Na watapigwa
tu na uwanja.
Maneno
ati kuna
watapigwa
gani.
Mlima unaguzwa. Thank you very much, Davis Beria, Fred Kagonye, Roger Sishtevi, Cedric Msumba, for coming in and giving us your views on what to expect this weekend on the fixtures that we have, as well as, analyzing what transpired in that time between Kenya and Senegal, where Harambee Stars were deemed 8-0. Vile wamesema hapa studio tuliona vimulimuli. Yes, that is where we wrap up the show. Kariuki?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much also Robinson Okenye. Leo nilikuwa nimesimama hapa kwa mdosi. Anasema anakula ngondu. Thank you very much, but we want to wish you a good weekend, and of course we meet next Friday here on the Football Sleep. Have a good night.